All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Another week has gone by, so I want to go through our progress on our 10K challenge portfolio. So we're going to take a look at that and compare and see how we did. If you're new to the channel, most of the 10K challenge portfolio consists of small cap, high growth stocks. So that's what you're going to see on the list. And if you're interested in that content, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. And also, of course, if you like this video, please smash the like button and feel free to leave a comment below. Okay, so it was another very volatile week on the stock market this week. There were a couple of days that suffered from some big stocks that made massive moves that just shook the stock market. So for those of you who are new to the challenge, basically what we're doing is we put $10,000 of cash in an account on the first day of the year, 2022, and we're looking to take that 10,000, and our ultimate goal is to get it to 100,000. Now, it's a 2022 challenge. I don't expect to get to 100,000 by the end of 2022, but we do have some other specific goals. We're tracking ourselves against the 4 major indexes. In addition to that, the 2 major precious metals, which are gold and silver, and the 2 largest cryptocurrencies, which are Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that's kind of a balance of everything in the market, we believe. So our first goal in the challenge, of course, is to make money. So that's the bare minimum threshold. You know, by the end of the year, we need to have shown a nice profit. Our second goal, equally importantly, is we want to beat every single one of the indexes, precious metals, and cryptocurrencies that we're competing against. So we'd like to come in first place, and we'd really like to put some distance between all of that, because if we can't just beat the NASDAQ or Bitcoin on its own, then you'd be better off just investing in those. It's a lofty goal, but I feel like it's a realistic one. And you know, this is an example of a real trading account. And I think the biggest part of all this is just to take this journey together and watch how I trade, because there's weeks like this week I did very little trading. So you know, a lot of people feel like if they didn't make a bunch of trades every day, they're not getting their job done. Well, that's not how I approach the market, you know, and there are many different philosophies. So I'm giving you guys an insight into my philosophy. I'm more of a buy and hold and a swing trader, and I also do use options on swing trades to get a little leverage, but those are typically my smallest positions because they are higher risk. Okay, so with all that said, let's take a look at what's in the portfolio. Okay, so here's the challenge portfolio as of the end of the day, Friday, February 4th, 2022. So I now have 9 positions. Last week I had 10 positions. I did sell one of my positions, and I will go through that and tell you what it was. So this is also listed in order from the largest position to the smallest position. Now, understand there is no oversized position in here, so it's not a drastic difference, you know, between the largest position and the 5th largest position. I don't have one thing that makes up 15 or 20% of my portfolio. So as you look at this, you'll see that the board shuffled a little bit when we compare it to last week. Last week, Bitfarms was the biggest position. And again, I did not add to Romeo, Bitfarms, Hut, Argo, or CleanSpark. So those were the top 5. They're still the top 5. However, they have switched. Romeo had an excellent week. The two stocks in my portfolio that had the best week were Romeo and Bitfarms. Now, those are my 2 biggest positions last week, so they're still my 2 biggest positions. However, they did flip-flop. Romeo is now, just as a function of the good week it has, it's now a bigger position than Bitfarms. However, I will say I do have some options in Bitfarms. So technically, if you were to take the stock plus the options, Bitfarms is still the biggest position in the portfolio. So I'm down to 9 positions from 10 positions, and that is because I had some options in CleanSpark, and those were March options, and they were at the $10 strike point. Bitcoin rallied near the end of the week, and as a result, those options rallied, and I sold those options. Again, it was a small position, but I felt that March was too soon. We're in February already, and those expired on March 18th. They were at a strike point of $10. The time erosion on those was getting massive, so I took my opportunity as there was a big run up on Bitcoin on Friday. I got myself out of that position. I added to my Bitfarms options position on Monday and then sold that off on Friday as well. Once again, Bitfarms had a great week, so that options position had become oversized for what I'm comfortable with in my portfolio. So I sold a portion of it to get it back to where I wanted it, and you'll see it's now the smallest position, although it's very close. So we added no new stocks this week. If you guys watch the channel, you'll see I have a very long watch list of stocks that I am really waiting to get into this portfolio. I just feel like the right opportunity has not presented itself yet. So you will see some more stocks in the portfolio, not too many more. I have 9 positions which take up 8 stocks. I don't see myself having any more than, somewhere around 12 stocks. It could pop up a little bit above that throughout the year, but that's about as much as you can manage, in my opinion, in a portfolio. And it's diversified enough to make sure we're headed in the right direction. Okay, so let's take a look at where the portfolio ended at the end of the week. Okay, so here's our net account value and our available for withdrawal, which is the amount of cash that is in the account. The net overall account value is $8,579.77. Last week we were in the $7,800 range. We are up $711 on the week this week, so that is a very good week. It still leaves us still a little bit behind, and we've got some more catching up to do, but this was a very nice step in the right direction. In addition to that, at the end of last week, we had about $2,800 in cash. This week, we have over $3,200 in cash. So in addition to going up $700 in the portfolio, I was able to shift about $400 into cash, which will allow me to get into those other positions that I was talking about. So again, this has to do with leaving some powder on the sidelines. Typically, you want to leave yourself in a position with some amount of money on the sidelines so that you can make a play if one presents itself. I'm now at the high end of where I want to be because there were some opportunities to sell out of some stuff and take some gains. And so I will be looking to open some new positions this week for sure. Okay, now let's compare ourselves to the rest of the indexes, precious metals, and cryptocurrencies that we are in competition with. Okay, so here we go. This is the previous week's ranking, and this is the current week ranking. So you will see gold was number 1. It's still number 1. However, every single thing is still down from January 1st. Some of these things are just down a little bit. Gold, the Dow, and silver are really only down, between 1% and 3%. Those are small moves, but they are down. The S&P 500 is somewhere in the middle ground. It's down 5.57%. So, not having a great year, but with how awful January was, that's actually not too bad. The NASDAQ and the Russell still find themselves in or around correction area, just under 10% and just over 10% down since January 1st. And Bitcoin actually had a very nice rally, and it's now down as of 4 o'clock at the close on Friday, which is what we need to compare because that's when the equity markets close. Bitcoin was down 12.48% on the year, but it had a nice up week, and it's up another couple of percent over the weekend. So Bitcoin is having a nice run, and that will obviously affect my portfolio. I do have 3 Bitcoin miners in the portfolio, so if they can continue that run, that will help me. Between Bitcoin and the Russell 2000, which is a representation of 2,000 small cap stocks, these are the places that my stocks mostly come from or mirror. They're still in correction territory big time, and they've been having a tough year. But, however, we'll take a look next, and you'll see that they did, I think, turn the corner this week, and we're going to be heading in the right direction. So the 10K challenge is down here in 8th place. So we're still down 14% from January 1st. We're up $711 on the week. So last week we were down 21% since January 1st. So we made a big leap up inside the portfolio. However, we have not yet quite passed these guys. So we have a lot of work left to do because, again, remember, the goal in here is to finish number 1 out of all of these, and we would like to finish number 1 by a decent margin. So we're a long way from that right now, so we have a long way to go. This was a good week. I want to show you the change this week for each one of these because you'll see some stuff is starting to get healthy. I think this was the best week of the year. Gold and the Dow were up 1%. That's almost sideways. Silver was up 0.13%. That is sideways. But the S&P was up almost 1.5%. So that's starting to be a nice gain. The NASDAQ was up 2% on the week. So even after the disaster that the NASDAQ had on the Facebook earnings, it managed to rally its way back and have a 2% up week. That's a very good week for the NASDAQ. And then same thing with the Russell, up about 1.5% on the week. So it was able to rally. So So, the question is this just pump fake, or have we turned the corner and we're heading back in the right direction? I don't know what the answer is. I think the only thing that ever technically got into a bear market was the Russell 2000, which from its highs back in November was down over 20%. So I think it's now moved out of that, and we will see if this starts trending in the right direction or if it's right back to red days next week. It's hard to say. This has been that kind of year, and really since the middle of November, the entire market has been extremely difficult to negotiate. And then, of course, at the bottom, you'll see Ethereum, which is having the worst year out of everything. However, even though it's having the worst year, down almost 20%, it did have the best week. It was up over 12% on the week, and it's up a little bit more on the weekend. So that's actually the only thing that beat the portfolio this week was Ethereum, and I'm not invested in Ethereum at all. The only thing I have that touches Ethereum is Hut 8 mines some Ethereum, and they are one of my larger positions. So I get a tiny little bit of this action. So I will tell you, we're now 5 weeks into the year, and Bitcoin, the portfolio, and Ethereum are bringing up the rear. It's my personal belief that those will probably finish first, second, and third by the end of the year, but we will see. I know a lot of people are very conflicted about where cryptocurrency is going. Over the course of time, cryptocurrency has drastically outperformed everything else in the market, but in any given year, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. To sum up, we made up some nice ground. The portfolio is up $711 on the week. In addition to that, I was able to get another $4,000 of cash on the sidelines for powder. So I have about $3,200 of cash that I can invest, and we're going to look for opportunities during this week to make some new investments. So we're basically 1 month down, 11 to go. I hope you guys are enjoying this, and I hope that this behind the scenes candid picture is helping you guys just as far as how trading goes and understanding, I'm down 14% right now. So it's important because a lot of retail investors get discouraged and they quit. The downturns are difficult, but you have to view them as opportunities. It did allow me to average in, so I had a great week this week. So stay tuned. We will see you next weekend for the next update, and of course, we'll see you sooner than that in the next video. Thanks for watching.